Have you ever been complimented so much that you felt like you were on top of the world? It feels great, right? But what if those sweet words were hiding a secret motive? Today, we're diving into a timeless classic, one of Aesop's most famous fables. The Fox and the Crow. It's a story that's been told for thousands of years, and for good reason. It teaches us a powerful lesson about flattery, pride, and the importance of thinking before we act. So, get comfortable, and let's explore this tale of a clever fox, a proud crow, and a very delicious piece of cheese. Our story begins on a bright, sunny day in a lush, green forest. A crow, feeling quite pleased with herself, had just found a magnificent prize. It wasn't a shiny pebble or a colorful feather. No, it was something far better, a big, round, and incredibly tasty-looking piece of cheese. Perhaps it had fallen from a farmer's cart or been left behind by a picnicker. The crow didn't care how she got it. All that mattered was that it was hers. Clamping the cheese securely in her beak, she flew high up into the branches of a tall, sturdy oak tree. She wanted to be alone, far from any prying eyes, to savor every single bite of her delicious treasure. She settled on a branch, feeling like the queen of the forest, admiring her find and getting ready for a feast. But she wasn't as alone as she thought. Down below, trotting silently through the undergrowth, was a fox. This fox was known throughout the forest for his sharp eyes and even sharper wit. And right now, he was also very, very hungry. His stomach rumbled as the scent of something wonderful wafted through the air. He followed his nose, his gaze scanning the area, until it landed on the crow perched high above. More specifically, it landed on the golden piece of cheese she held so tightly in her beak. The fox's mouth began to water. Oh, how he wanted that cheese! But he knew he couldn't just climb the tree and take it. The crow would simply fly away. No, brute force wouldn't work. He would have to use his greatest weapon, his clever mind. He needed a plan, a trick so cunning that the crow would give up her prize without even realizing what was happening. The fox sat down at the base of the tree, a sly smile spreading across his face as an idea began to form. The fox looked up at the crow, putting on his most charming and friendly expression. He knew that a direct demand would get him nowhere. Instead, he would use the art of flattery. "Good morning, Mistress Crow," he called out in a voice as smooth as honey. "You are looking absolutely stunning today. I have seen many birds in my travels, but none compare to you." The crow, who was about to take a bite of her cheese, paused. She looked down at the fox, intrigued. No one had ever spoken to her with such admiration before. The fox saw he had her attention and continued, laying it on even thicker. "Your feathers. They shine like polished jet, so sleek and glossy. And your eyes, they sparkle like diamonds in the sun. You carry yourself with such grace and elegance, truly the most beautiful bird in all the world." The crow puffed out her chest, her heart swelling with pride. She had always thought she was a rather handsome bird, but to hear it confirmed by another was intoxicating. The fox knew he was close. He had appealed to her vanity, but he needed one final push to make his plan work. "My dear Mistress Crow," he said, his voice filled with fake sincerity, "with such beauty, you must surely have a voice to match. I have heard that the crow's song is the most melodious of all the birds in the forest. It must be as lovely as a nightingale's, as powerful as an eagle's cry. Would you do me the great honor of singing just one note? I long to hear a voice as magnificent as your appearance." This was the ultimate compliment for the crow. She was so overwhelmed by the fox's flattery, so eager to prove that she was indeed perfect in every way, that she completely forgot about the cheese in her beak. She wanted to show this admiring fox her wonderful singing voice. She wanted to prove that she was not just beautiful, but talented too. Her pride took over completely, clouding all her judgment. And so, filled with a giddy sense of self-importance, the crow did exactly what the fox had hoped. She took a deep breath, threw her head back, and opened her beak wide to let out a loud, proud caw. The sound that came out was anything but melodious. It was a harsh, croaking noise that echoed through the trees. But the crow didn't care. In that moment, she was a star, a diva performing for her biggest fan. But as she opened her mouth to sing, the inevitable happened. The big, delicious piece of cheese, forgotten in her moment of vanity, tumbled from her beak. It fell down, 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 spinning through the air, right towards the waiting fox below. The crow snapped her beak shut, but it was too late. She watched in horror as her precious prize disappeared from sight. The fox, with his quick reflexes, didn't miss a beat. He leaped forward and snatched the cheese right out of the air before it even hit the ground. He took a big, satisfying bite, chewing happily as he looked up at the foolish crow. The crow could only stare down, heartbroken and humiliated. The fox, wiping his whiskers, finally spoke, his charming tone now replaced with a mocking laugh. "Ah, Mistress Crow," he said, "you do have a voice, that is true. But what you lack is wisdom." He held up the last bit of the cheese. "Let me give you a piece of advice in exchange for this meal. Never trust a flatterer. Those who praise you often have their own reasons for doing so." With that final lesson, the fox trotted off into the woods, leaving the sad, hungry, and much wiser crow alone on her branch. So, what can we all learn from this classic tale? The moral of The Fox and the Crow is crystal clear and just as relevant today as it was centuries ago. The first and most obvious lesson is to be wary of flattery. When someone showers you with compliments, it's wise to ask yourself what they might want from you. True friends and genuine people will offer sincere praise, but excessive, over-the-top flattery is often a red flag. It can be a tool used by others to lower your guard and manipulate you for their own gain, just like the fox did to the crow. The story also teaches us about the dangers of pride and vanity. The crow was so caught up in her own ego, so desperate to be seen as perfect, that she lost her common sense. Her pride made her vulnerable. It's a powerful reminder to stay humble and think critically, especially when our egos are being stroked. Before you act on praise, take a moment to think. Is this genuine? What are the consequences of my actions? By keeping our pride in check and thinking before we leap, we can avoid falling for the clever foxes we might encounter in our own lives. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back into the world of Aesop's fables. It is amazing how a simple story about a fox and a crow can hold such a deep and enduring message. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more classic tales and the lessons they hold, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you won't miss our next story. What's your favorite fable? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.